All right, guys. Welcome to it's not the first episode, but it's the first that me and Mike are co-hosting together of Pure Muscle Radio. The podcast is going to be on the Pure Muscle Fitness YouTube. All right, and the first episode is going to be pretty much just like a tryout, so don't expect like this spectacular thing, but it's all about having fun and having nice discussions.
It's pretty spectacular, to be honest.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Big Mike.
No, it's not.
Actually, I want to start the podcast with maybe asking you some questions, Mike, because some people maybe don't know that you've been around for a while. You took a break, came back. So I'll talk about with the first time I saw you. It was actually at the 2009 Mr. Canada in Vancouver, the one you won your pro card. And I was like 22 years old. I overdieted for the show. I got fourth in the heavies. It wasn't bad for a 22-year-old, but and then I saw just Big Mike in the super heavies. How much did you weigh at that show?
I weighed in at 255, but I think when I got on stage, I was probably like closer to 260.
Yeah, carved up. So I was like, geez, like 260 pounds. Like that was
That
like,
carb up almost didn't happen because my trainer at the time, Darren, we were in Vancouver together, and he was like obsessed with the fact that he thought I was flat. And I was just like trusting him because when I competed, I didn't trust my own eyes. Like a lot of people don't, they have that problem. So I was like, yeah, I'm flat then. Fuck, like, what are we gonna do? And he's like, well, I don't want to give you any more carbs. I don't want you to spill. And I was like, okay, like, I'm just whatever, tell me what to do. So we're like sitting there. It's like the morning of the show, and he's like, and we were staying at some hotel, and there was a McDonald's on the corner. I don't know if that was the host hotel or not. Like everyone was staying there, but there was a McDonald's like right down the corner. So he's like, let's just go there, and I'm gonna fat load you.
fat load.
And I was like, what? Like, we were clueless, right? Like, people think that people, like, everyone knows what they're doing all the time. Like, I'll be the first to admit, like, when I was competing, if I knew what I knew now, I'd look back and I'm like, man, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you're lucky anything ever worked out for you. Like, you're so lucky that anything worked out. So he's like, yeah, let's go to McDonald's. And he goes to McDonald's. He's like, I'm like, well, what do I get? I'm like, the only thing I would eat here is, like, a McMuffin. Like, I love McMuffins. He's like, no, okay, get two of those and get, like, 8 hash browns.
Hash browns.
And I'm like, what the fuck? So I never eat hash browns, and I'm sitting on this like outdoor patio of McDonald's in Vancouver, and it's freezing, and there's all these random people around, and I'm like shoveling back these like hash browns, and all I can taste is like grease in my throat.
Yeah, you're just loading on trans fats.
Yeah, I was just like, all I could taste was grease, and I was like coughing it up. And I remember but I started filling just because the calorie was filling me. I don't think anything to do with what we were eating. I just needed to fill up more. And I remember being backstage, and the whole time we were backstage, and we saw like Partlow walk by, because like Partlow was like my sworn enemy at that point. Like, we were going there to beat. Like, no one else was at the show to beat. Like,
Yeah.
I was just obsessed with him because he was so good back then. And so I like saw him, and I remember standing backstage, and I was like just like hanging out in my area, and I kept burping up McDonald's. And I remember, like, that's all I like vividly remember about that show. It's just like, I remember seeing you. I remember saying hi to you.
Yeah.
Out front and talking to you, because like I was following you. Like, I saw what you were doing back then with like your YouTube and stuff like that, and so I knew who you were and what you were doing and stuff. But that's like we started talking about that, and it's like my first memory of that is the McDonald's. This is the McDonald's hash brown story. Now you should know about.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't remember what I did for that show. I know I over dieted. Yeah, I had my hair though. I had hair back then.
So did I.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Kind of short.
Yeah.
So after that, you got a contract with Animal, I believe, and you were in the scene for a little bit. Then you step aside. Why did you step aside from the scene?
When I won my pro card, I was signed to Muscle Tech, IOV.
Muscle Tech, yes.
They had signed me they had relegated me to 6-star nutrition, and
the Walmart brand.
yeah. But like, thankfully, when I won my pro card, they didn't even know I won my pro card. They were unaware. But I told Sean Tierney, who's like the head coach of Team T-Rex, like, he's around this area. Like, he's a really good dude to be back then, and he found out I won. He called me. He's like, "Oh, we have to do something about this. Like, this is a big deal." So he arranged the photo shoot. He arranged all this stuff. So I got some publicity from them, but they really didn't give a crap. Like, maybe they shouldn't have, because they had so many big athletes. But so then I was signed with them for. They automatically signed me in my contract. It was a before and after, so they automatically signed me when I won to a 2-year contract. So I was with them, and then I moved to the States, and then my contract with them ran out. That's when they kind of like dumped all their athletes. I don't know if you remember back then.
Yep.
And obviously I was on the chopping block. I was nobody to them, so I got canned. And then I was living in New Jersey at the time, and I just went to a couple. I was filming some muscular development stuff down there.
Yeah.
I knew, and then I just got introduced to some animal guys. Like, remember Eric? Was it Eric Schwartz?
Yeah, natural guy. Yeah.
Eric. I met Eric at a Diamond Gym muscle camp that I got invited to.
Was it the ABC they were doing with animals? Is that what it was?
No, this was
Okay.
this is a muscle camp like put on by
Muscle
like
camp.
Muscular Development, like sponsored it.
Oh, okay.
They brought in like Rodney Roller and like Sean Ray and all these, like, they set up stations around the gym, and like pros would be at each station.
Oh, that's
talking
cool.
about different workouts. So
Yeah.
I met Eric there, and I approached him because I think Robbie Durand at Muscular Development kind of talked to him about me, and then their relationship just went from there. So yeah, then I was with Animal, and that was sort of short-lived.
Yeah. So what made you stop? Like, what happened? Was it the accident at the cage?
No, I don't know. You know, because you compete, and people who are watching compete, like, you kind of like fall in and out of love with this sport, in the sense that, like, when shit doesn't go your way and you've put so much effort into it, and not so much effort and time, but also you put so much money into it, right? So, like, in preparing for Canada, I spent an exorbitant amount of money on drugs, to food, to like everything I needed to do the show, right? And I was scraping by to do it. So I won my pro card. I wasn't expecting anything massive to happen, but it's like, then you understand that, like, okay, well, I had to do that to become a pro. So what do I have to do now to become a good pro? Like, what level of income am I going to have to attain, or what am I going to have to, like, start doing to be able to afford this lifestyle? Considering you're not like this top guy who's going to get signed to these 6-figure contracts and stuff like that. Like, when I was at the Animal, I was literally making $400 a month. Like, and having to post on their forum all the time, which is fine, but it's like I'm jumping through all these hoops for $400 a month that doesn't even cover my groceries for the week.
No.
So it's like, you know, I came to that realization pretty quick, and then I hurt my pec, and that, like, I tore my pec, and obviously that affected it because it was
2011.
Like, yeah. So I tore it at the cage, and it wasn't like what I was doing. The movement I was doing wasn't something I was unused to. Like, I'd pressed 200-pound dumbbells before, but I think my shoulder being beat up over time and so long of playing football, I always had problems. It was just like, that was the straw that broke me. Like, if I had pressed the 100s again to warm up, I probably would have tore it.
That day? Okay.
It was just hanging on by a thread, basically, right?
Yeah. So then you fell off a little bit for a while. You got a job at security and probably other stuff too. But so what made you come back? Because then I remember you came in here at the Pure Muscle Fitness, started training here.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved bodybuilding, and I've always followed it. Like, I've moved on to another career path. You guys know what I do for my other job, but so I was heavily involved in another area of work and just not involved in fitness and anything at all. And I kind of transitioned into like boxing more, and I was very interested in boxing and training with a buddy of mine, and I just kind of had needed a break from bodybuilding. Like, I just was not into it anymore, and I just didn't see like the return on investment necessarily for myself. Like, it seemed to be hurting myself all the time, and like getting all this shit going wrong with me.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I should give my body a break, and like that'll tie into probably what we talk about later on in terms of like lifting heavy and pounding on your body. Like, if anyone has any recollection of what I was like back in the day, I was lifting a lot of weight. Like, I was moving lots of weight, right? And I was doing it for a long time. And it's like, I don't know if that really paid off for me. I don't think that was probably the smartest thing for me to do. Like, it felt good at the time, don't get me wrong, but I think that's kind of why my body had these little breakdowns and stuff.
Yeah, but that's why you and Darren, right? You learn all these movements.
Yeah, like when I first moved to Canada, I had trained with a guy in Rhode Island, and his name was Joe Felicia, who taught me a lot about bodybuilding and like taught me a lot
Joe
about
Felicia?
Yeah, he's just a friend of mine who I met down there. But he was like very knowledgeable when it came to bodybuilding, powerlifting, and different stuff like that through experiences he had. And so I learned a lot from him, like how to like transition out of football, which is all power-based and explosive-based, into bodybuilding, which is like volume and intensity and like duration, right? So I learned that from him, and then when I moved back to Canada because of family issues, I moved back up here. I ended up meeting my old coach Darren at Extreme Fitness when Extreme Fitness was a gym.
Yeah, it was on was it Bloor? No, what street?
There was a bunch of them, but I worked at the one at Yonge and Sheppard.
Yonge and Sheppard. So which one is the one that you go on the ground kind of thing? It's on some and then you park in front. It costs you like a lot of money to park to that gym, the Extreme Fitness. You got to park in the street, then you spend like $10 every time you train in parking.
That Extreme Fitness at Yonge and Sheppard was underground. There was a Moxie's above it.
Okay.
But yeah, so I met Darren there, and then Darren just kind of took my raw ability and kind of like honed it and taught me how to move. And me and him we worked very well together because he thought the way I thought, and I saw what he was doing and I understood it. Like a lot of people would think it's just like stuff when you probably learned how to do stuff with me the first time, you're like, this is really awkward or weird, but the more that you do it, you feel better, right?
Yeah, makes more and more sense. And then this is why I ask you, well, Dorian said you should ask Big Mike to help you with your back training. Yes, all right.
I was keeping, like when I first, I'd heard about the gym. Like
Yeah.
I'd heard that Dorian opened the gym, and I had known Dorian and Noah back in the day, like when they owned Pure Nutrition and things like that. They would get me different supplements I wanted, and they were always really good to me. And I actually trained Dorian and Noah, I think maybe a couple times back in the day when I was still training people before my job I'm currently at. And so like I reached out to them, and I just said, I'd love to come and see the gym. And then that's when I started coming here, and I obviously knew what you were doing and how you were competing and stuff. But then when you won that show, I wrote them and I just congratulated them, and I said to tell you did a really good job. And
That was after like the Cali show.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then I just said, if there's any way I can help, like at all, like in any facet, just let me know, because whatever.
Yeah. Then I did one training. I'm like, and then I was doing back, and then I was like, why am I not doing all the body parts? Then we started doing all the body parts. And then Quentin started training with Big Mike, and Regan, and even some girls, Valerie and Kathleen from the gym here. And I think this is, I think you got a lot to offer to the bodybuilding world and a lot of knowledge, and that's what also we're doing right now. We're giving you knowledge.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a little intro for Big Mike. And so now I guess as Mike, the trainer and the bodybuilder once again, what's your goals and stuff? Do you have a vision of where you want to go with this, or do you want to be the new Psycho Fitness, Charles Glass?
No, those guys are all well-established guys, and they do what they do, right? It's like I don't have a desire to necessarily be training a million people or like impose my way of training on people. It's more as I'd like to I enjoy like fixing movement and like correcting patterns of movement and making things like more efficient. So I don't want to like.
You want to train athletes?
Yeah, I want you to still do barbell rows, but I want you to do them better.
Yeah.
Or I want to make them more difficult for you, but in making it more difficult for you, I'm making it more effective for you.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Like break people out of this mindset that like I just pick up weight and I move it as fast as I can and I put it the fuck down. Like no, it's like there's so much more that goes into it, right? It's like I've talked to Dorian about this and other people about this. It's like bodybuilding is the only sport in the world where like people have forgotten that movement is a sequence of movements. It's not just a singular movement. So it's like when you go to row a barbell, it's not just pulling the barbell up and dropping it down. There's mechanics from it, like you're driving through your feet to the floor, you're driving your chest up, you're driving your body forward.
Yeah.
You're retracting your shoulders. You're doing all this stuff, right? But people are forgetting that, and they're not understanding it. Like if you fix that sequence of movement, the movement overall becomes better.
Yeah, well, for me, I really feel it because my lats were, they're a weak point, and I was rowing a lot of weight when I was 20, more than right now, and my back was like 4 times smaller, and I would row just with traps and arms and just like swing it like that. But now with like releasing the arms and pushing the hips back, and then it's just, well, you've seen the videos, and if you didn't see them, go on the HG Muscle channel and go check them out. But yeah, so now I feel like I'm training the lightest I've ever been, but I'm getting the best pumps targeted that I've ever had, and I'm gaining the most muscles I've ever gained. So it's weird because when I was younger, it was like I think it's because of Ronnie Coleman. Because of him, everybody started like pushing crazy freaking weights. Because I would see him like barbell row 4 or 5 plates, and I was like, I got to do that. to gain muscle like him. And I was rowing 4 plates. I was like 20-year-old, but it was a. Was it a row or was it a shrug?
It's the thing too that it's like you're seeing a snapshot in time, right? So you're seeing a video of a guy who's a monster who can row 5 plates like it's nothing, but you understand that there's like 18 years of training behind that.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this picture and you're like, oh, he's doing 5 plates. I need to do 5 plates. It's like, well, he also was at a point where you're at now.
Yeah.
And slowly progressed up. Like his 18-year-old self was looking at his 37-year-old self being like, that is the strongest man I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
I could never lift that much, but he's still this guy he was before, right?
Yeah.
So he progressed to that. And like it's okay to aspire to lift more weights, but it's like you have to do it within reason.
I think Ronnie is an example of its own.
Well, yeah.
You can't look at Ronnie and be like, I'm going to do what he did. Like, I want to eat like barbecue sauce with my chicken 4 weeks out.
I do that all the time.
So
I'm fighting off a sneeze right now. So.
Really? But yeah, so I guess your goal now is just keep doing what you're doing now. Go with the flow and just train athletes. You're more interested in training like top athletes, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm only interested in doing this and that. Like I'm interested in training people that want to learn and that are in the mental space to want to accept what they're being told, right? It's like you can teach people stuff, but then you might teach them something and then you walk away or you see them in a month and they're doing back to the same old bullshit. And it's like, yeah, there's room for the stuff that you do that you enjoy, but like if you're not taking these little cues and tweaking little things, then you really don't want to get better. Not that my way or what I show you is the best, but like if your back isn't what you want it to be and you're just going to keep doing what you've been doing,
yeah,
it's like you
stupid.
said the other day, it's the definition of insanity. Like you're going to think you're getting results by doing the same shit. How is that possible?
No.
You've been doing it for years, right?
Yeah. That's why a lot of guys I find they get bigger as a bodybuilder, but they don't get better in the sense that they don't change their proportions. No. So it's like, yeah, like me, I could get bigger, but if my lats stay the same proportion as the rest, it's like I'm not going to get points on stage with my proportions. I'm going to get beat by a guy who are more balanced. And yeah.
That's why you'll see, like, even where I'm sure we're going to talk about it, you see like you might see these guys on Instagram or just in bodybuilders in general, and they're the next big thing, and they look insane, right? Like in their pictures. But then when you see these guys on stage, you see the holes in the physique, right? Because, like, yes, being a big guy is a cool thing, and to be a fucking monster is awesome. Like, I love to see a fucking monster walking around like this guy's a massive freak. Like, it's awesome. But, like, that doesn't mean that you're a good bodybuilder. Like, you being the biggest guy around and being the most intimidating walking around and having structure like crazy, but then when you hit the shots that you need to hit to win a bodybuilding show, you're missing a lat.
Yeah.
Your chest is flat. You have no back. Like, all this stuff, like, that's what makes a bodybuilder. And I think people have gotten into this obsession with, like, the bigger I am, the better I am.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like God rest his soul, Rich Piana. You would look like, just like his arms down like that, like a monster. But then he would raise his arms, and then it's like something would be not as good. So it would be in the gym. He was like, wow, this guy's a top Olympian. But then on stage, you're exposed with the lights, and you're pretty much naked. You're almost naked. You're wearing a little Speedo. Yeah. So like you're exposed. You're being judged, and there's like no way to hide your flaws. Like there's no way. So there's a difference between being a Instagram bodybuilder and a real bodybuilder. So you can be both. You can be both.
When you get on stage and you're in your tights or like in your clothing trunks, you get to see like the lines of that person's body.
Yeah.
So, like, you see the lines and the flow of the body, and like that person could look great in
clothes,
board shorts, or in sweatpants, and they take their shirt off and they pose in the gym. But the overall look of it isn't there. Like, it falls apart.
Like the quad sweep, the hips and everything. It's just like, there's more than just like muscle size in bodybuilding. And that's why people say it's genetics, because, for example, if we take a front double bicep, if we take our friend Quentin there, he can just raise his arms like that. It's a perfect front double. Yeah. It's like,
structurally
and
sound,
there's people who will struggle to hit like that pose as well as him, because of his structure. 20 minutes in. Okay, so you know what? I want to talk about this subject. I want to know your input, Mike. IFBB Elite versus IFBB. you know what happened a few years ago?
No.
I'll cue.
I went blank when you said that. I was like,
Okay, so I'll explain. I'll explain. So what happened is before there was just the IFBB, and people within the IFBB started had a conflict with the main guys, the Manions, and for some reason they split. So there's now two IFBB federations. There's the IFBB, the real one, and there's the IFBB Elite. I say the real one because I'm biased. I love the IFBB with the Olympia and all that stuff, and so.
Are they trying to make the elite like the Olympic?
They're saying that it's another federation that's also the IFBB but elite, but it's not the Olympia.
Oh, okay.
So.
But are they going to try and have their own Olympia title?
I don't know. They have. I think it's named something else, but one bodybuilder I think the best in that federation is actually Mikhail Krizo, and I'll show him to you right here, and there he is. So that's his best. That's their best bodybuilder, Mikhail Krizo. So he's my height, 183 centimeters, which is around 6 foot, a little bit under, and he's 265 pounds on stage. Too wide, yeah. But when he poses it, I mean, I think he looks good. So if that's their best bodybuilder, how do you think he would stack up against in the Olympia of last year?
Not very well.
You don't think he would place very well? I think he would win a pro show. I think he'd win a pro show and qualify for the Olympia because he has a lot of mass. His arms are crazy, good quads, and he could be a little bit sharper, I guess. But I think he would. You think he would be top 10? You think he would beat me and Regan?
Like there's something like the physique is nice to me. Like it's clean, but like you see when he turns to the back, how like the quads from the front look great.
Yeah.
But side shots fall apart. So in the sense that like this is a horrible shot. The side tricep is terrible.
They should have done the legs differently.
No, it's the whole position. Of the
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's detracting from this is like you say, would he beat me or Regan? If this guy would pray to have yours or Regan's waist, whereas you guys would be like, oh, maybe we want his
arms and chest.
Yeah, like maybe you'd want.
Yeah, arms and chest, because he's actually one of my favorite bodybuilders in the sense that I just love his front double. Yeah. Where is it? Like, if you look at that, his front double bicep.
But that front double looks a lot different than the one we just saw on stage.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
That one's a little. Somehow the waist has lost 4 inches.
You're okay. I don't know what you're saying.
Look at that front.
Okay, let's put the video again. So the video.
He can't. His control of his midsection is an issue, right?
I think it's not. I think it's.
This hanging part.
Yeah, maybe it's just because the thing with why we call some bodybuilders Instagram bodybuilders. I've been accused of that myself. That's why I can say that. Is that when you do a posing video and then you do a front double, what a lot of us do is we take a screenshot. They said there's like 1,000 frames in that video. We will take that one frame that we look the best, then we put a little sharpness, a little bit structure, then we're gonna post that. Oh, I'm 4 weeks out, and then we look amazing in that shot. But the rest of the video, we don't look as good as that frame because that was the best frame. Like, I'm honest, that's what I do, but I think most guys will do that. Why would you take the frame that you're not as good? Or why would you take a picture, you gotta take the best picture. And you gotta alter it a little bit. Like, I've actually started using Facetune because what's his name? He was like playing around with Facetune. You know what Facetune is? No. It's a, of course you don't, but it's like a program where you can get a picture. I will stick my client here for fun, and then you can use details. So you're gonna go here, and then you can add more detail.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So my was playing around. He was like making his face a bit smoother and stuff, and he just says, no, it's because it's a small screen. It's more. You make it more realistic. I was like, you're right. I'm gonna start doing it. Yeah, so you can smoothen the little things, and you can actually
all the Tim Hortons I want.
Yeah, if you have like
just smooth myself out.
Yeah, or if you have like obliques, a little bit of obliques, you're gonna put the details on it, and then you put just a little bit so you don't notice it's photoshopped. but it is a little bit. So if you take the best frame of the video and then you face tune your face, you make your teeth wider, you make your abs with more detail, increase sharpness and 5% structure, you're gonna look amazing on Instagram. But then if you go on stage or you do a video, now you're really exposed.
I mean, that guy you showed me, it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, he's crap. Or
No,
I
I think he's really good.
He's fantastic, right? Like that.
Yeah.
I wish I had that genetic.
Yeah.
I wish I had that ability. But like I'm saying, like if you're gonna ask me to compare against certain guys and stuff like that, like I think he could be something special. But it's like he's still got a little bit to do.
I wish he would compete. I bothered him a few times, and I don't remember his reasons why he's in that federation. Probably because he's at the top, right? Probably making good money and stuff.
Yeah, are they paying their athletes differently?
I'm not sure, but I heard.
It must be enticing people to come there.
Yes, I heard that Regan told me that there's actually more prize money, which I was really surprised because I'll show you a guy who just did his first show, then he won his pro card. Yes, so Andrew Jack, he's a Larry Wheels training partner, and I noticed that on his Instagram, he's not even like announcing that he did a show that he won a pro card elite. So maybe he just did a show for fun because he's not really promoting that he's a pro bodybuilder in the elite now. He's more like just doing crazy weight. And so this guy did his first show. He looked really good and won his elite pro card, or qualified for asking for one. So it makes you wonder, like, is it that federation? Is it legit? Is it? Because for me, it took me 10 years to get a pro card, and this guy shows up.
I mean, it seems like to me, because I don't know really, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, but it seems like to me, like if you're going to start a new federation or a new league, you'd almost want to bring in ringers or like build your roster.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not saying this guy looks crazy. He's like fucking jacked
good
as hell, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not deserving of it, but like if you can entice a guy that gifted who could probably get his IFBB pro card to come over to your league, you must be giving him something
more interesting.
Right? Like,
yeah, but whatever, because now people are saying like, oh, maybe the caliber of the bodybuilders are not as good in that the IFBB elite. But there's one guy, Peter Molnar. Actually, he was a bodybuilder in the IFBB elite, and he quit the IFBB elite. He was at the top in that league. I think he's German. I think he's German or he's Romanian. German or Romanian. And then what he did is, yeah, I will. Stage shots. So what he did, he actually, oh, there he is. That's his routine. Yeah. So he did the Romania amateurs, and then he won his pro card. And then the next day competed in the Romania Pro Classic in the IFBB, and then won his first pro show. So he won his IFBB pro card first try, and then he won his first pro show as a classic competitor in the IFBB after being a competitor in the IFBB Elite. So I'm sure there's a lot of good bodybuilders on the other side, but what I want to see is what Peter did. Come to the real league, where the real big boys are at. So I wish Mikhail Krizo would do that, but yeah, he's a great poser, but you know, he has his reasons. So personally, I'm always going to be representing the IFBB because Arnold did it, Ronnie did it, like all the top Mr. Olympias, and the Mr. Olympia is IFBB, so I'm pretty much sold out IFBB.
Maybe one day they'll blend together.
I don't think so.
I think put aside their differences, maybe.
No, yeah, right. No, I think what happened is there was a lot of politics involved, and I don't know the details, but I just know that it's like it sounds better to be an IFBB pro at the Mr. Olympia than IFBB Elite at some other show. But that's just me. I'm not taking anything away from these guys. But all right, so let's see, because I had some questions we could ask some questions. We could answer some questions from our followers. So I did ask on my Instagram in the stories some questions. Okay, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So, all right. Look at that question from I Blame Mustu, ectomorph guy. That's the question.
It's a good one.
When we say questions, it needs to be a verb and a question mark.
Who's the ectomorph guy, though? Am I the ectomorph guy?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you ate the ectomorph guy. Oh, look at that. Have you ever had to fight a fan? I mean, you've been in fights,
No, not fight a fan.
but you've been in fights. You've been in one, almost one recently. You want to talk about that?
What one?
The one with the lady.
Oh, no. I'll leave that alone.
Leave that alone.
Let's keep that world separate.
Okay. He didn't fight anybody.
No,
He
I'm
didn't fight a
not
lady.
fighting a lady at all.
Yeah. Okay, so let's skip that one. All right. Here. What is the heaviest thing you have ever lifted outside of a gym, like a rick in a river or something?
A Rick?
What's a rick? In a river. So what's the heaviest thing you just lifted outside the gym? I think me it's a person.
My vanilla ice cap I just had?
I think me as a person or something. I probably lifted a person.
Yeah, I'm sure some.
Like one of my friends playing like wrestling or something, like over 200 something pounds. I guess. I mean, I don't go
Maybe
around.
do it when I worked construction when I was younger. I'm sure I lifted some heavy stuff.
Oh, I tried to take something heavy in 2019 and I tore my bicep.
Yeah, that's why we don't lift heavy stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Outside of here.
Yeah, exactly. I was moving some equipment over there and in the gym, and my bicep exploded. So we don't really want to do that. We're not strongmen. We're bodybuilders.
We're just all show.
Yeah.
No go.
So okay, that's funny. I actually like these questions. HG Muscle's favorite birds. Mine is the black cap cicada. So what's your favorite bird, Mike?
That's the most random bird.
I love these
No one's
questions.
ever heard of a bird. We'll go
Talk near the mic though, so they hear your
We'll go
your
with
bird.
cardinal.
The cardinal.
Yeah, sure.
Really, the red one, right?
Yeah.
I like the
No, hummingbird. I'm going to change mine.
hummingbird. They are cute. You should put pictures, Alora, of the birds, because mine is the shoebill.
Wow, it's a random ass bird.
Yeah, the shoebill looks like a freaking
I couldn't
dinosaur.
name a random bird outside of like blue jay, cardinal.
No, but I love the shoebill though. Have you seen the shoebill? Okay, I need to show you the shoebill. So the shoebill is this bird who looks like super mean. It looks like it's from the prehistoric times.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah,
I didn't know what it was.
I love that bird. But the only thing I don't like about it, yeah,
Show them that. That's right in the fucking.
yeah, she will put those pictures on the camera. But one thing I don't like about the bird is that I heard that when it gets hot, he shits on its own legs to cool himself off.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
like,
that's
come on. Like,
Everyone does that.
everyone does that. Okay, so let's do another question here. Beef, lamb, chicken, dairy, sensitivity, protein supplements for mass gain, pork and fish getting old. So that's a funny question because you just had your allergy test, right?
Yeah. What is he asking?
I think he's asking like which ones are the best protein sources and or the dairy sensitivity. It's about digestion and
I mean, I don't know. I guess you'd have to play with different sources and figure out how you respond to them, right? But I mean, I think a lot of people are pretty safe with beef.
yeah.
And I think anything that you maybe get too much of, you might develop a little bit of an intolerance to. So it's probably a good idea to kind of rotate your sources.
Did you say you think you're getting allergic to eggs now?
Yeah, I don't know if that's like in my head or not, but
Oh.
I feel like when I eat eggs, I just get completely congested. But then I got an allergy test and it said I wasn't allergic to eggs. So
So what are you allergic for?
I don't know. I'm just making stuff up in my head, I think.
Oh, okay.
Like, literally.
For me, my protein sources are pretty much like I eat eggs, 2 eggs a day usually. I eat chicken twice, salmon or bison patties, and white fish, and I use basa. So that's what I do. I don't eat pork. Like this guy is like, he said like, his name is just Matt Fowler. Matt Fowler. Pork and fish getting old. Pork?
I mean, if that's all you have access to.
No, you don't. You have grocery stores. You,
Yeah, but we don't know where he's from, right? And we don't know.
Or
where
is he from? Is he from an island where there's only wild boars?
never know.
Maybe we never know. But yeah, pork. That's weird. I do like bacon though. So that's a question for me actually. By Canadian Dude, CDN Dude 99. Why are you moving from the Muscle Mansion? Well, the rent was up, but then now they extended it, and I already signed. But I would have still moved because the kitchen in the west wing of the mansion is horrible. It's electric stovetop, only 2 of them, and the fan doesn't work, and the fridge. So look, so this is the island. The fridge is here. I cook over here. The sink is here. All day, I just do laps around the fucking island.
Cardio.
I hate it. I hate it. So my new place
You're gonna gain weight now that you.
has a
move.
real kitchen. Yeah, and there's a multi-station in front of my bed. So that's good. So let's see. Oh, another question by Crack Junkie Jack. That's a good name. Are you going to be able to pack on the muscle you need to compete at the Olympia? Is that for you think?
Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like asking that question is like, do you think it's like it's a fucking weird question? Like, what are we doing here? Of course, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We don't come here every day to be like, oh, let's fail.
Yeah.
Let's not put on muscle today. Yeah. What a fucking weird question.
Yeah, I think I'll be able to do it. I already did it. Yeah. I already went to the Olympia with the muscles I had less than this, so I think I'll be good. All right, then this guy Nikos Sotiriou is asking, please explain how to do a big Mike Van Wyck barbell curl. And it's kind of hard to do that with microphones. But one thing I can ask, I thought it was funny, because you say crack the elbows sometimes, right? You know, crack the elbows first. Some guy in the comment of Juji's video said, does this guy know that the word bend exists?
Fine, we'll say bend from now on.
Because
the reason why I say crack is because it's a better analogy in the sense that like I'm not gonna bend my elbow. I want to create that little snap.
Yeah.
So I want to make that bicep fire. So when I tell them to crack their elbow, it's like it's more of a violent movement.
Yeah.
It looks slow because you're holding a weight, right? But if there was no weight in his hand, it would literally be like that fast.
Yeah.
As opposed to like when he curls, it looks like this.
Yeah, I know what you meant, but the guy, it was just a funny comment.
I'm going to say crack even more now.
Yes. And now, what's the timeline here, Laura? 36 minutes. We'll do like 2 more questions and do a little outro. That'd be good for the first podcast there. Did you ever went to Sweden?
Yep.
Robert Twine is asking, when will you come to Sweden? So you went to Sweden before?
I've been to Sweden.
Why were you there?
For my other job.
Okay. I never went to Sweden. What's Sweden in French? La Suisse? Suède. La Suède. No, I never went to Suède. But I don't plan on going either. Can we even go anywhere?
It's cool there, though.
Is it? Yeah, it's really cool. Nice. Like cold or?
No, it's really nice.
Oh.
People are cool. And looks nice. Nice and old.
It's old. Oh, yeah, Europe. Yeah. Oh, good look, this one. Weirdo Hemper. Weirdo Hemper is asking, how are you a bodybuilder and so strong, but at the same time, funnily amiable and nice? I think that's for you.
I think that's for you.
I think that's for you.
I'm not a bodybuilder anymore.
But you look very funny, amiable, and nice.
I don't know if I think that's you.
I think it means you're nice looking and you're like
can't be strong.
Lovable.
You can't be strong or nice together. It's impossible.
No.
Apparently.
Well, how are you like that? Well, because if you would be a bodybuilder and a fucking jerk, you're not gonna go far in life. You're not representing bodybuilding really well. So you should always be nice. Whatever you do, even if you're a fighter outside the cage, be nice. That's how it works.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, we're working out, man. And we're just having fun. Like, this isn't like...
We're being healthy.
I know you're going to see videos on YouTube of, like, these guys who come into the gym like like they're about to fucking go to war and, like, they're pissed off and they're slamming weights and stuff like that. It's like, we're also here to have fun, right? Like, this is fun. Getting big is fun. Lifting weights is fun.
It's pretty much a luxury that we have.
Yeah.
So we should be happy and grateful that we can do that. So that was the first episode of myself and Big Mike's podcast, that we're co-hosting, Pure Muscle Radio. So share it with all your friends, post it in all the social medias if you want. This is available on Spotify, iTunes, and the Pure Muscle Fitness YouTube.
Don't forget to troll.
Don't forget to troll, yeah, and make sure you comment. And even the funny comments, the random ones, I mean, just comment, express yourself, you know. You use the platform. The YouTube comment section is probably the worst, the last place on earth that's like nothing is censored. So go wild, my friends, and have a nice day.